It is Monday, December 30th. A lot of people don't really know what day it is, but we're talking about Honda and Nissan. Little updates. California suing Scout, overpriced fast food, and Kyle and I have near zero inboxes, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably the biggest news of the day. We just
massive.
It's funny, we didn't talk a lot last week because of Christmas and holidays and kind of have a little more of a fluid work schedule. A lot of people were off, and we just realized that we both kind of like came into the office, air quotes, on late last week just to manage the monstrosity of our inboxes.
It was magical. Nobody was bothering me. No Slack messages coming in. And it was just like, yep, tick that one off, tick that one off, tick that one off. And it felt so good. I went into the weekend just like, you know.
How many emails did you unsubscribe from?
I'm pretty good at that on the
you?
normal, right?
Okay.
It was like legit work that had to get done. So
well, I did a lot of unsubscribing as well. You know, I'm kind of the way I subscribe to emails and I absorb a lot of information just through subject lines and first like paragraphs on a bunch of different fronts. Some are creative fronts, some are news, some are right. And so I'm always like, oh, and then eventually I'm like, you know what? I haven't opened or cared about this thing in like 2 months.
Done it in a hot
It's
minute.
gone. It's gone. It's gone. So I don't know. We still got 2 days left, today and tomorrow, and the end of the year.
I know. I mean, you know what's cool is the few dealers that I have kind of like rubbed shoulders with and texted with, the end of the year is doing really good. Like people are heads down and they are selling a lot of cars, servicing a lot of cars. So I'm excited. I think the last 2 days of this year are going to be roaring for a lot of people.
Yeah, we got it. We got 2 days left, right? Everybody's on the push.
So good.
I was just in a dealership, had to drop my vehicle off for the first time at a new dealership, and the service advisor actually came from a sales department in another dealership. He went from sales to service advisor, and he said he loves it. He loves it, and they're jamming over there too.
We're hearing more of that. We heard that last week on a podcast or something like that, and
sales
then
service.
Yeah, so many people going, and then it's people are figuring out that service is a jam.
There's a consistency thing to service that the sales side of the business just isn't for everyone, you know?
Right. Yeah. You have to be willing to put in some work that doesn't feel like work all the time. And service, you're like always doing something productive for sure.
This week definitely going to be a little bit of a jittery one with New Year's right in the middle, but we've got some new content for you to listen to if you're looking for a podcast or something to feed your brain with, give you a little inspiration. Spoke with Carol Marshall with Activengage talking about human connection in data-driven auto industry. Carol's just been a great friend for a lot of years.
She's great.
And she's always, she is just a people-oriented leader, period, right? Does a lot of data, does a lot of tech. So that's our Auto Collabs podcast, Auto Collabs. Also, big thing, nadaparties.com. It's not quite January, but it's about to be January. And the second that happens, all people are focused on are what they're doing at the NADA show, or like the vast majority of the industry.
During, after, lots of people in the industry going to be worried about it. We've got 22 parties sitting on nadaparties.com from all the way from Wednesday to Saturday evening. So after you get even Wednesday, people doing things on Wednesday, fam. So whatever you got going on during the day, we've got you covered for the nighttime. So check them out. Plan your little journey all the way across New Orleans. And if you haven't signed up for the wait list of our party, do so, because we have a feeling we'll be able to scrub a couple people out that don't respond on the last minute.
Yep.
And also, if you are on the current list, just know we're going to be calling you the week before to make sure you're going to be there, because that thing is already sold out and we want to make sure we get max capacity up.
Yeah, and if you don't respond, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get in. We're at max capacity, but make sure you're on the wait list because we can try our best to get you in.
Just because.
All right, there's been a lot of drama. Actually, it's really strategically over the holidays drama, but Honda CEO Toshihiro Mibe, what is it? Mibe?
I don't know.
Mibe?
You go for it. Mibe?
Toshihiro
Mibe?
Mibe. Toshihiro Mibe.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
He faced an awkward press moment when asked, here's the question, why will Nissan make a good business partner? And he said, that's a difficult one. Trying to explain the rationale. I feel so bad for him. The comment highlights the broader skepticism and questions surrounding the partnership. Basically, Honda solid hybrid lineup struggles with EV development after parting ways with GM. Meanwhile, Nissan A lot of financial instability, declining EV market share despite its history as an early leader with the Leaf. You know something about that, Kyle. Nissan's robust manufacturing network supply chain could potentially align with Honda's hybrid expertise. Now, Nissan shares went up about 60% when they were talking about like, hey, we're going to, who wants to be with Honda? Like,
wow.
We do. Actually, shares sliding a little bit after as it's developed a little bit more. All the excitement is coming down. Both companies do face uphill battles for sure. Any meaningful results from a merger might take 3 to 5 years.
Oh, at least.
Here's an analyst, Julie Boot. She says, ideally, it would have been a healthy and financially sound company rather than Nissan. So we've obviously had Brian Benstock. If you haven't seen it, we had Brian Benstock make some comments on this right before we left for the break. And this is something that obviously everyone's watching. There's more at play than just like
I mean, there's two major things at play. One is purchasing power. We know that. The other one is political, the kind of impacts to this. And so I think there's kind of some unspoken stuff probably happening outside of the boundaries of just the partnership. But either way, when you look at two global brands that are clearly doing fine when it comes to just like the entirety of where they push vehicles into, you're gonna get just like support from being bigger, I think. So I'm sure there's some strategic maneuvering that we're not aware of. And I agree with the estimation of 3 to 5 years. Like those are two front runners that have been competitors for quite some time. So seeing the strategic alignments happen over a longer timeline instead of initially is probably going to be where this all draws out.
Yeah, without that. Well, we'll see. I think everybody's in the we're just in it for the ride. Honda dealers, Nissan dealers, there's really not much anyone can do but pay attention.
Yep.
Yes. Hey, good morning, everyone on live stream. Hey, Katie Mayers, good to see you on the live stream this morning. Good morning. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Man, all the interesting stories happening while everyone's on vacation and break. California New Car Dealer Association, they are pushing back against Volkswagen Group and Scout Motors, accusing them of violating state law by taking direct-to-consumer refundable deposits for their upcoming Scout model.
Boy.
So money is changing hands now. California's amended vehicle code, effective January 1st, 2024, prohibits automakers or their affiliates from direct-to-consumer sales if they already have a franchise dealership network in the state. Tesla is exempt, and it has never operated through franchisees. Dealers are arguing Scout's model excludes VW's 50 franchisees, cutting them out of Scout's EV sales opportunities. Scout is insisting it's independent from VW, despite having leadership that was shared at one point. The California New Car Dealer Association is evaluating legal action if Scout and VW do not comply with the law, saying, quote, VW has chosen to launch the Scout brand in a manner that is brazenly unlawful.
We aren't a part of that company that owns 100% of us. We're totally not a part of that.
And that we took the leadership from and placed him over here. Nothing
literally 100%, Paul. 100%.
None of your dollars have gone into any of this.
None of that has gone into it.
And I know you've been begging for a pickup truck for years, dealers. Saying there's a market. We're going to throw this
other thing over here and not call it yours. Thank you very much.
Tough. It's tough to get past that one.
Yeah, this one's tough to get past. I'm surprised, honestly. I mean, we know a few of the people over at CNCDA. And obviously they are pushing back. Saw some of the LinkedIn posts about how they're responding, what the communication pattern is here. I think it's bold to come from California first, because you wouldn't expect that, especially when dealing with a net new brand, when they've already given so much to Tesla. Like there's some grounds for a net new company coming in and doing this type of thing. So they must feel like there's a really strong leg to stand in. Obviously, there's recent vehicle code that gives them a lot of leverage because it's a very recent ruling. So interesting to see what happens here. I think that Scout is going to have some reckoning across states, and anytime you see California come out with something like this early, you're going to see other states just fall right in line, and we'll see what happens.
I feel like there's so much opportunity to leverage the dealer network, to deliver these vehicles, to show them off, to test drive them. Like, I know it's complicated, but man, to bypass it like that, I just.
And here's the thing, like, as dealers, VW dealers are some of the, from what I have experienced, they're typically like, they swing more savvy. They swing more customer centric. They have already, like, VW owners are already a lot more loyal.
They're
so
loyal.
Why wouldn't you leverage all that brand loyalty?
I don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it because, you know, Daniel Govera was on the show and we said Scout Motors and he goes, who? Right? Scout has a massive lift, just speaking from a brand build perspective and what you need to build a consumer brand from the ground up. Nobody, I mean, such a small percentage of people remember the old Scout vehicles. Right? It's just not that iconic. They're trying to bring it back and make it iconic. And I think they just have a much, much bigger lift to get that to be someone's like prime choice, top of mind. However, like you said, you siphon from the VW brand, right? Scout from VW, right? A VW brand. All of a sudden, all the VW owners look and say, oh, right. But they can't do that.
Yeah. It's even harder when all you're really building is a Land Rivian.
A Land Rivian. That's so good. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, the cars are gorgeous.
They are gorgeous.
They are
it's just a Land Rivian.
Land Rivian. Oh my gosh. Okay. Speaking of gorgeous.
I don't have any. Just stop it. Oh, that was a bad joke. Bad joke on a Monday.
I think it's a good joke.
It worked. A recent study has named Shake Shack and Five Guys as America's most overpriced fast food chain, sparking debate over whether premium pricing for burgers and fries is really worth it. A company called Preply analyzed 57,000 Google reviews, highlighting Shake Shack as the most overpriced, not just expensive, overpriced chain, followed by Five Guys and Sugar Factory. Key terms like expensive and not worth the money dominated a lot of customer feedback. Back in March, a viral receipt for $22 for a bacon cheeseburger, soda, and fries obviously led to a lot of widespread backlash for Five Guys, with one post asking, what is the right amount these days? Shake Shack has raised prices twice in 2024, 3% in March, 1.5% in October, citing inflation pressures. Still, Shake Shack, they're making money. Strong Q3 earnings, 14% revenue surge, 17 new locations. CEO Robin Lynch said, we're proud of the results as we grew total revenue with positive traffic. So people still showing up.
Well, the question is, like, what is overpriced? Because if people show up, like the person who bought the $22 burger, fries, and soda, I
enjoyed every bit of it.
I guarantee you when they walk out the front door of that of that Five Guys, they could, within eyesight, see a McDonald's and a Burger King.
Absolutely.
Right. And if you want to pay $12, you can go to McDonald's or Burger King.
That's right.
But if you want, I mean, it's just
I think that's the juxtaposition here. Like, we're like, a lot of people still remember going and getting a Big Mac meal for $5.89.
Shoot,
right?
I remember two cheeseburger meals for $2.99. We were just telling my kids, Mom and I used to eat at McDonald's for $6 total.
Easy. And that's just not a reality. Like,
no.
Chick-fil-A, we come out of Chick-fil-A and I'm like, and they took my wallet too. Oh. It's crazy, right?
That's a second mortgage showing up.
But like, I've never seen a Shake Shack not busy. You ever been to a Shake Shack and it's like, where do all the people go? It doesn't happen, right?
Never. Actually, it's funny, like when that Shake Shack picture come up, Nathan, can you put that back up? This specific Shake Shack model, it conjured a feeling for me, because I don't know if you remember, you and I were dealing with one of the toughest business. Turn like forks in the road. I mean, it was a year and a half ago, so we figured it out. But we were like in there, we're like, what are we gonna do about this? Yeah, in a Shake Shack that looked just like that.
And that burger was stellar.
I would have paid $50 for that burger in that moment.
Perfect timing.
That I wasn't buying a burger, I was buying solace.
And solace. And I'll say, every time I go into a Five Guys and that the fries are just like, just overflowing, and you're like, how, this is not a small, this is a double extra large.
They do that
everywhere else.
Yeah, right? I put a whole thing. And by the way, I think it's worth, since we're just commentating at this point, I think it's worth mentioning that if you're ever in the airport, Atlanta airport, I can't remember, is it B terminal or C terminal? There's a Five Guys. I think it's C terminal.
There's a Five Guys.
And the staff there is always entertaining.
They're always great.
We've been there several times.
And when we say entertaining, like it's not just the entertainment like you would expect.
Entertaining.
Yeah, it's
good
amazing.
Service entertaining. So if you ever do that, go to that Five Guys. Make sure you tell them we sent you, to which they'll have probably some entertaining response because they're upbeat, they're energetic, the food's always good, and that's just little airport recommendations for Paul.
Little reco
at the beginning of the year.
Little travel reco
at the end of the year. Actually, just start off 2025 right. Go to Five Guys in the Atlanta Airport Terminal.
That's
C.
right.
Tell them we sent you. Look, whatever you're doing, close out the year strong. We have 2 days until it's 2025. We'll see you tomorrow morning.